Greetings everyone, welcome to this new video. Today is a good day because the Atlas has arrived, the new Atlas for 3.6 Syndicate League. So what that means is we're gonna take a look which maps to shape, which ones to elder, and which one to just skip altogether. So they always scramble the maps around, and also there's some new pathways going around here. Also a thing that to mention that every map should at least have a possibility to get 5 sextants. So they have designed it now so every map can have 5 sextants. That's why it's so cramped down here, so the T1s can actually get 5 sextants now. So there's a few criteria that I look at, and I've mentioned this in a previous video, so if you want to look at that one is going to be linked in the description what goes into this. But I'm going to go through it real fast here. Basically, it's layout. If you can kill all the mobs from running to one end to the next end without double tracking. So that means you're gonna finish the map in a short amount of time. Then there is mob count, the amount of enemies there are on the map, which means that the more enemies there are, the more currency, the more maps, the more everything we're gonna drop. So that means we can probably sustain our map pool. That means we can drop just as many as we're running, or at least getting close to that number. Then there's the boss also. If it's a really tedious boss that takes a long time, then that also gets minus point for that, or if it's an easy one, it gets plus points. Then there's minor things like aesthetics and stuff like that that I'm not taking into account that hard here, because it is up to personal preferences on those kind of ones. And also a big pointer is big drops. So if they have good divination card dropping or good bases on those maps, then of course those are much more valuable than a normal one. Because divination cards can be like, the doctor can be worth multiple exalted. So that might be a good thing to take into account. So hopefully I covered everything what I'm looking for. If you have any questions, put that in the description. Let's go into why I've chose these maps to shape and elder. To start out this shaping strategy, we're gonna start with tier 1. For every orb we put in, it's gonna increase 5 tiers. That means that this tier 1 is gonna go all the way up to a tier 6. It's gonna stay at the position. It's just gonna be a tier 6 yellow maps instead. So alleyways, I chose that one because it's excellent layout. You can run from one side of the map to the other side without missing any mobs. It has a good boss basically. Tier 2 is going to be Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion I have also put in on my elder list. I added it now because I realized that this is an excellent choice because of all the white sextants you're gonna be able to put. So I think Haunted Mansion is gonna be one of the top contenders for Elder Orb this time. So when you kill the Uber Elder, you get the Elder Orb, and you can do this one to any map on there to a T16. So Haunted Mansion will definitely be on the top contender here. We'll see what I choose, but we'll get to that later. So it has a decent mob density, and a good boss and really good layout. So I think this one is a high contender just because of that. All of them are pretty decent. None are super great, but they're all more than decent. Next one, it's Leyline for tier 3 up here, and we're gonna have, it has a good boss, it has decent only mob count. There was not many good ones. Maybe we could go channel, but honestly I like Leyline's layout better, and you can run from one side to the next without double tracking or anything. You will kill all the mobs on the way, which is very important to me. And for most people, you don't want to spend 4 minutes on the map when you can spend 2 on another with basically the same amount of monster killed. That's what you want to do. So for tier number 4, we're gonna have our Underground Sea. This is also a high contender for the Elder Orb. I hate this map, that's why it's not on my list. We can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So we're definitely gonna have 5 sextant opportunities here. Like I said, this one has really high mob count, and it has a decent boss, and I would say decent layout also. It's not the hardest layout, or it's not the easiest layout. I would say it's somewhere in the middle. I don't get. There's probably a better way than running this map from side to side or in all these crevices, but it's so dark and it's so hard to find things in there. I just don't like it, but people love this normally. This was the highest run map probably of all the maps here on the Atlas in previous leagues. So it's a good one for both Elder and for our tier 4. Next, we're gonna have marshes for tier 5. The reason why I chose marshes is that it has really high mob count. It has a decent layout, only decent, and yeah, there was not many contenders for 5, so I basically this is the best of the worst kind of thing. 6, we actually have a good one. It is, if I can find it, here. We have Layer. I like Layer, honestly, because there's plenty of people that have done map series on Layer, and it has a decent layout. What I mean is more than decent, because it's basically just a straight path, and there's one offshoot somewhere on, depending on which, there's 2 different basic layout on this one. And there's one offshoot, so it's very good, and it has excellent mob count. It has, I've written here, it's an 8 out of 10 on mob count, and it has the divination card. So here we go. This is what it really makes this one stand out, because it has a Rigwell's quills, which is the quiver, which is the most sort of the quiver in the game, basically. And if you get these div cards, it's probably over an exalted per card or something, like 2 exalted or something like that. I don't know what the prices are now, but it's very expensive. And yeah, it has a decent drop chance. It's much better drop chance than the Doctor and those kind of cards. So something to look out for. Also, Burial Chamber is in this one. Let's see if we can find it somewhere. It's a 6. It was here somewhere, yeah, because they mislabeled it. Yep. Here it is. It's supposed to be a yellow map. So here it is. So you can also use this one and farm doctors if you have an MF build. But honestly, without the Magic Find gear, I would go for the Layer. If you have Magic Find, then of course, then you can go full out on this, and you can put in some white sextants also here. You can do the same with Layer also. So you supercharge it. Might also be contenders for Elder Orb. I don't know. Not for me at least, but for other people might. For 7, Bazaar, because I love this map because it's very easy to. It's outdoors, first of all. I love outdoors maps, and it has a great layout. You can run. It's labeled on many sites as not that great of a layout, but it's really easy to clear the full map. And you have a divination card that gives exalted orbs, 2 exalted orbs, if you get enough of them, which means that you don't even need to trade any items when you get these. And it has a decent drop chance on these exalted orb divination cards. So a good, and then very easy boss on top of that. Which other one? It's Spider Forest. I've also written in here. It's over here. Spider Forest has been very popular. It has not the best layout, not the best mob count. It has a decent mob count though. But I picked this. I wanted to mention this one because if you have Magic Find gear, then this might be the one for you, because you can go for the Doctor here. Again, Doctor leads to a Headhunter. If you get a Headhunter, you have 50 exalted cell. But I'd rather get consistent drops than like 1 drop in every 200 or 300 maps or something like that. So now we get up to the little bit higher ones here. So let's take a look at Toxic Sewer here, which I've written down. I personally don't like this one, but I'm definitely gonna put it in because I'm gonna sell them. But it's also can be highly profitable. I know tons of people that using this because it has almost one of the best layouts in the game according to people, and you can run from one side to the next. Boss is pretty easy, and it does not have any good divination card or anything, but it is a very decent map. It's very fast to run, so you can chain these maps very fast, and when you put in some currency into it, you can definitely make some money out of it. Volcano I put because on tier 8 we can use two of these orbs. So I put in two here. So you can see here on the side, they're all written down also for you. So Volcano, I chosen this one. This is probably, I will still use Toxic Sewer, but this one has, if you have MF gear again, Magic Find gear, this might want to be the choice for you because it drops the divination card for Comb's Heart. It has a little bit of an odd layout, and the density of mobs is okay, I guess. But it's definitely a good choice. Many have been using this map for farming their Comb's Heart. So there might be a point to pick this one. Tier 9, I chose to pick Underground River. Where are you? Underground River is up here. It's in good position. It gives the divination card, the taming, which will go for quite a high price in the beginning of the league. So that's the ring there, so you can look that one up. It has a pretty low mob count, but it has a really good clear layout, so you can run from one side to the next without any problem. And it has a really good boss in the end. So it's a solid choice. It has div. The only thing that is negative is the amount of mobs in the map, so it's going to be hard to sustain it. 2 on tier 9, I chose Val Pyramid. Again, the tier 9s here, they were not the greatest. I would choose Val Pyramid because it has a divination card of a serious accuracy, which means that those are the gloves that drop from, I think it's Uber Asiri, the ones with Val packed on them. Those are extremely expensive. It's gonna cost like 20 or 30 exalted or something like that when I saw them on PoE trade a few times. So those might be a good choice to farm, and it's not that many cards needed, I think. Oh no, these are the ones that you need 16 cards, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, you can look that up. Mob count is very decent. It's more than decent, it's good. Layout is pretty terrible though. So that is the minus with that one. Castle Ruins, it's a good layout, really good layout, and mob count is really good. It does not have any divination cards though, and the boss is good, so I might even choose this one. It stands between these two, Underground River or Castle Ruins. Honestly, I can't be bothered with the layout of Val Pyramid. And for the highest one, we're gonna have, I choose to Moon Temple. I love the Moon Temple. It's very easy to get around, so I love the layout there. And plus, it has a decent chance of dropping the divination card that gives you Enlighten level 4. That is the corrupted version of a level 3 Enlighten, so level 4 one. Those sells for a hefty price. Really good currency farm there, and it has a excellent, one of the highest mob counts in the game. Layout, like I said, really good, and boss super easy. I wish this one was on a white area so I could just elder it, but it's here, and I don't want to contend with my other ones, so I did not put it in. But it's also a good choice for an elder orb. Other choices that I might, because you have 3 of these Shaper orbs, it's gonna be Scriptorium. Scriptorium I chose because of its divination cards you can get from the boss. I think the divination card is called the Offering, and it gives you Chevron's wrapping, which is that ES chaos installation or something. Yeah, you can look up that yourself. And he has a decent on all stats. He has decent layout, decent, but nothing more. Not mob count like Moon Temple or anything like that. Next, we're gonna have Plateau, also on level 10. Where are you, Plateau? Did I put it in even? There we are. It's very close to this one. He has the div card for Beric's Respite. We might be very valuable in the beginning, so that might be a good thing to look at. Mob count is terrible though, but clear is literally one of the best things. It's just it's basically a straight line through the whole map. You cannot go wrong in running in this map. So those are my normal shaped ones. If you're wondering why there's only one on these and multiple on these, that's because the shaper orbs drop different amount of them on different tiers. So there's one shaper orb for all of these on each tier, and then there is 2 here, 3 here, and so on. So now for the important thing in my mind is the Elder one. Elder is gonna drop if you kill the Uber Elder, then and you have completed you should have completed by then the Sana questline. Then you can make any map on this at tier 16. So we have so many possibility. But I love my Desert Spring. I love the layout. I love how it's set up and everything. The boss also spawn enemies, and it turns out there's a guy I'm gonna link in the description that did a test on this, and I pointed out to him that there was actually you get many mobs that drop loot from the boss area. So if this doesn't change, then this is the highest density maps or highest mob count map in the whole game right now by quite a fair margin, I believe. So that means if you can click here, we can have 1, maybe 2 there, 3, 4. Yes, probably 4 yellow sextants that reach it, which means it's in good place, and then we can just use 1 red sextant to finalize it if we have 5 sextants. So it's in a good position. Other ones, Bazaar, extremely high density also map, which means this one was already shaped by us, so obviously I would not shape it if I decide this. So that might be also a good choice. This is one of the highest density maps, is good layout, and it has only yellow sextants around. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Only yellow sextants around. And it has the divination card on top of this, so you can get some extra currency for the divination card. So it's definitely between Desert Spring and Bazaar. I don't know. I did Desert Spring, a lot of Desert Spring in the previous one, so I might do Bazaar. But I have to get back to that and do some testing on that. So there is definitely going to be videos out on testing on these. Haunted Mansion has been a real good contender for many of these leagues, so that might be also one that is, and it has the upside of only having white sextants, which are going to be extremely cheap then. Or white sextant might be expensive because this is in such a good position and so many will buy it. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. Okay, there we have it. All the maps that I've chosen for shaping and all the possibilities of where you can put the Elder Orb. I want to put some warning in though. If you decide to do, for example, Desert Spring here, then you definitely don't want to put Plateau as one of your shaped ones. Why is that? You might wonder. It's because then this one is going to turn into a red map, and then you're going to need a red sextant. So you might want to think a little bit extra on these. And the same for Moon Temple. If this one can actually reach, I don't know yet, because we need to check that out. If the sextant can reach there, then we might not want to do Moon Temple either. But it's going to be really easy to check out when the league actually starts. There might also be changes to this depending on where the new divination cards is going to drop. But it's not going to have that much effect on the whole thing. It depends where there's a few divination cards we might want to have an extra look at. But these are the really good choices for anyone to choose. I've chosen them from my own experience and what other people have thought out and stuff like that. So just take a look in the description and I will link all the material that I used for choosing these maps. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.